Jackie Hollywood here, and I am back for a story time. Yes, my second story time. The first one was so much fun, I decided to do a second. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, do that now. I'm gonna give you guys 5 seconds. Hope you guys subscribed. Make sure you follow me on all social media at Jackie Hollywood. I also got links to everything. I'm including my music down below, so make sure you check out the description. Okay, so today's story time was between 2 different stories. The first one was I got punched in the jaw right here like 5 times, and then the second story was I was gonna tell you how I made $18,000 when I was 8 years old. I posted a poll on Instagram and Twitter, and the latter story won. So I'm gonna do that one today, and then maybe I'll do the punch in the face story another time. How did I make $18,000 at 8 years old? I know that sounds completely insane. It doesn't even sound real. Someone on Twitter was like, did that even happen? Yes, 100% it did happen. Now I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what I did. That way, there's a chance that you guys can actually get into the industry of how I made that money. There's a chance that you yourself could do this. It's hard, but you can. Or if you have kids, I'm gonna say it's a lot easier for kids to make this type of money, okay? So if you have kids, specifically, this is definitely for you. When I was little, I begged my parents to put me in modeling and acting school. Like, I wanted so badly to be an actress or be a model or be a singer or be something. Like, I wanted to talk for a living. Clearly, this is why I'm doing this. I wanted that so bad. I was like, Mom, please. And she was like, no, it's a waste of money, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, how do I get her to like enroll me in a school? I wanna go. There was like Barbizon back in the day and all that. And my mom was like, no, that's a bunch of scams. Like, no. So one day I was in the car with my sister, who's 3 years older than me, and we heard a commercial on the radio for John Robert Powers Modeling and Acting School. I think they still exist, but we heard this commercial when I was literally like maybe 7 years old, and me and my sister were both like, please, 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 like we want to go. And I guess my parents hadn't heard of that school yet, so they were like, okay, well, we'll see. So they call, whatever, we go for an appointment. They basically said if my parents enroll me and my sister, they'll let us enroll for 2 for the price of 1. Right there, my parents were like, all right, that just cuts that in half. So it was really expensive. I don't remember how much the school was, but it was definitely a few $1,000s. But my parents were just like, all right, they want to do it, like let's let them live their dream. So I was lucky enough to go to John Robert Powers Modeling and Acting School. I don't know if I think it was once a week or twice a week or something like that. And we would read monologues and we would perform in front of the students, and then they would teach us literally how to walk a runway, like a catwalk, when I was a kid. So I actually really liked going to that school. I thought it was a lot of fun. Because I was a part of that school, we got all these opportunities. So we got to go to this thing called IMTA, which was the International Modeling and Talent Agency. There was this whole like convention thing in Los Angeles that we got to be a part of. Probably cost extra, I don't really remember because obviously I was a kid and my parents were paying, but my parents decided that it was a good idea to send my sister and I there. While I was there were a bunch of booths for like modeling and talent agencies. So like you basically, like, you're the adult, you walk up with your kid. So my parents walked up with me and my sister, and we would meet these talent agencies, these model agencies, and give them like our resume, and it was called a Z card. I don't know if they still call it that, but models have a Z card. So like you have your headshot on it, and then the back has like your measurements, like your height, your weight, and all of that. So like we would hand the agencies our Z card, and then they would like look at us and talk to us, and we'd move on. So it's kind of like a job fair. If you've ever been to a career fair, you move from one table to the next. So that's literally what we did for hours, right? So I went to one particular booth. It was called Marla Dell Talent Agency. I guess they liked me. I mean, I didn't know right away. I talked to a bunch of places, and we had to like wait for callbacks. So like in the next couple days, my parents got a call from Marla Dell, and they're like, we want to see your daughter again. And we were already back in San Francisco at that point, because that thing in LA was like the weekend. So back in San Francisco, and Marla Dell Talent Agency was actually based out of San Francisco. So my parents bring me into their office, and they're basically like, can we measure you? Like, we just want to measure you. And when I say measure, I mean not just like, you know, waist and hips and arms, like literally like collarbone, like neck length, the space between your eyes, like how far is your ear from your chin. It was like the craziest. It took like an hour for them to measure me because it was so intense. I guess it turns out that I was the perfect size, like in every possible way, for like an 8-year-old child. When I say that I was a perfect size for an 8-year-old child, what I mean by that is, by the clothing standards of the clothing stores that are big, you know, Macy's, Gap, Nordstrom, all those stores, by their standards, they obviously like sew specifically for a specific size. So if you're like a size 4, it's gonna look this way. If you're a size 8, it's gonna look this way. So they had like a list of sizes, like neck to arm, finger to mouth, whatever, and they had all these numbers. So they're like, if you find a kid that fits these as close as possible for us to like make clothes for that size, call us. I don't know if that makes any sense. I went way too into detail into that. But basically, I was the perfect size for what this agency was looking for. What I mean is that Gap and Old Navy needed somebody my exact size, my height, my weight, my chest, my hips, my legs, all that. They needed me to be a fit model. What is a fit model? It's basically a live mannequin. So you get clothes tried on you and they like pinch it here and they move it there. So they basically sew clothes like on your body because they think that your body is like the average size child in America or whatever it is, right? Marla Dell called me and they were like, you're perfect. Gap and Old Navy wants you as a fit model. I'm 8 years old. I have no idea what that means. Like, I'm just like, cool. Sounds good. Gap and Old Navy model. That's all I heard in my head. I had no idea what that entailed. Like, didn't know anything about money. I mean, I'm a kid. I don't know anything about money. I don't care about money at that point. What I found out when they called me was that I was gonna get paid. You guys ready for this? Are you literally ready for this? $75 an hour. $75 an hour. For me, as an 8-year-old child, to go in to a building in San Francisco once a week, maybe 4 or 5 hours, and I'd stand there in a room with like a panel of people, mostly women, sometimes guys. They would sit there, I would try on clothes, could be a shirt, could be pants, could be whatever. I would come out, they would all have their little notebooks, they would all have little measuring tapes and like pins, and they would come up to me, they would like do that, and then they would pin it, and then they would do this. I mean, I was getting poked with pins like all the time. And then they'd be like, all right, so the pants are a little loose. So they would like come and like pinch the pants and then pin it, and then they'd be like, okay, the measurement's here now. The inseam is gonna be a little bit longer because her leg, her ankle isn't long enough, so we're gonna do this. So they would just come and do that for like hours. And I would try on different outfits. So Gap and Old Navy, it was their clothes, whatever they wanted me to try on, that's what I would do. Now, get this. This is even crazier. They told me that if I had to try on any undergarments, and what I mean by that, obviously an 8-year-old's not really wearing a bra or anything like that, but if I was gonna try on any swimming suits, anything like that, any kind of sports bra type of things, even underwear, if I was gonna try any of that on, then I was gonna be a little more exposed and maybe a little bit more uncomfortable, so they were gonna double my pay for that hour. Yes, so they were gonna give me $150 for that hour if I tried on one pair of underwear. That was $150. It's crazy. So I would like go behind the little curtain, I would put on the underwear or the bikini top or whatever it was, and I would come back out. I was never naked, like nobody ever saw anything. But I mean, yeah, I was like wearing underwear, it was kind of awkward, I guess. I didn't really think about that when I was an 8-year-old kid. Like I would just stand there. And they would come up and they'd be like, all right, so like the underwear like needs to go a little bit more towards the belly button, it needs to cover the butt a little bit more this way. And that's literally what I would do. The problem is that I had to get pulled out of school early to go do this because they would start at like 3 o'clock. I was in what, like 3rd, 4th grade, something like that. So I had to get pulled out of school early once a week. It wasn't too early, it was like an hour early, but if you're a kid and you're getting pulled out of school once a week early, it looks weird, right? It looks kind of strange. I was a really good student though. I'm not gonna lie, like I was like a straight A student. I did all my homework. I was very attentive. I was always raising my hand. I was a student that the teachers loved. I was not a goof off. I didn't sit in the back and make noise ever. So I figured they'd be fine. My teachers would be fine with this because like I'm a good student and I'm still gonna do my homework. And actually while I was at this fit modeling job waiting, I would literally sit there and do my homework. But after missing school for quite a while, I think the other kids started to ask my teacher, or maybe they were jealous that I was leaving school early. They didn't really know what I was doing. Only like my 2 or 3 close friends knew where I was going, but like all the other kids didn't know what I was doing. But I think they were kind of like mad that I got to leave early, so they would like complain to the teacher, be like, why does Jackie get to leave? So eventually my teacher, shout out Miss Friedman if you are watching this. I don't even know if you exist on this earth anymore. I hope so, because she was one of my favorite teachers. But Miss Friedman, super sweet, but then one day she was like, I need to talk to you and your parents. Like, we need to speak. And I was like, what did I do? She's like, you can't keep leaving school. Like, it's just not allowed. Like, it's not okay. She's like, I thought it was gonna be a couple times, but you're leaving every single week. I was like, so my parents came in for like a conference or whatever, and my teacher was just like, your daughter can't keep leaving, like this is looking really bad. And my parents were like, but she's doing all her work. Is anything suffering? Do you see her not learning as well as the other kids because she's leaving? If that's the case, we will not take her out. If this is affecting her education and her knowledge growing and her brain expanding, then we will stop taking her to this job. But my teacher honestly was like, no, like it's not affecting anything, she's fine. And so they kind of talked about it, and then my teacher just allowed me to continue doing it. Because my parents explained to her like they were trying to save up money for me and for college and all that, and my teacher couldn't really say no to that, you know what I mean? They're like trying to help me in the future. Now I'm an 8-year-old kid, remember that, so I have no idea that $75 an hour is a lot. Like it just, you know, to me $75 and $7 is the same. Like I am a child, I have no idea. So I actually hated going to this. At first I was excited and I thought it was really fun, and I was like, oh yeah, I get to leave school and I get to do this. And every time I go, my mom would buy me Subway, because I was obsessed with Subway. She would get me a Subway kids meal on the way to the job, so I was like extra happy, and it was like the best day of my life every single week. But after a while, the money meant nothing to me, and I would just be getting like poked and prodded with pins and fingers and all that. And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I'd complain when I'd have to leave school. I'd be like, I want to stay in class. I don't want to go. Like because I'd have to stand on my feet for hours, and I was just getting really tired. Like honestly, I was just like, I'm over it. Now, let me say this real quick. If I got to do that now, if I got to stand there and be poked and prodded for $75 an hour, or for $150 an hour to try in a bikini and just stand there and literally do nothing and not use my brain and not have to work and care about anything, I would be like, sign me the frick up. Like, sign me up now. But unfortunately, it's not that easy anymore. So I hated doing it. My parents kept saying, you're gonna thank us, you just don't know it yet. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And I was like, I don't wanna go, it's so boring, I'm bored. At the end of the day, I got almost $18,000. Obviously it was in my parents' bank account or whatever they had opened for me. And then when I got older, guess what? My parents were like, well, we told you you'd thank us later. Guess what? Here's your money. And like they transferred it to my bank account. I looked at it and I was like, that's mine? Where, huh? And they're like, remember you used to model. This is your money. And I was like, what? That's so much money nowadays? They're like, don't be dumb. Don't use it all on dumb stuff. Don't go shopping and blow it. And I was really smart, and I saved it. I saved it. I saved the money. But the fact that they put that in my bank account, and I could finally say thank you. I don't want to say thank you for forcing me to do this, because they didn't force me. I'm the one who wanted to go to modeling and acting school. I'm the one who wanted to do the thing, do the job, and do this. I wanted to. I just got really tired of it after a while, because I didn't appreciate the value of money. They kind of pushed me into saying, just keep it going, trust us. And I'm so glad that I did, because I made 18 grand. The reason why I say that it's hard to do this now as an adult, even as a teenager or whatever, when you start developing in areas, and I mean these areas, you know, you're already not the perfect size. Because all these stores, hate to say it, they want tall, skinny, flat sticks. Now, I have no problem if you look like that. Everyone is beautiful in their own way, but I don't look like that. Like, I'm skinny, like I'm a thin person, but I have boobs, like I have hips. So when I started developing that, I mean, honestly, like around 11, I feel like I was already like getting boobs. Yeah, definitely 6th grade, I was definitely already getting boobs. They were just like, yeah, sorry, we can't use you anymore. You're fired. They basically fired me. And then when I was about, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14, my parents were like, hey, do you want to go back to that talent agency and just see, maybe get measured? Maybe you're 14 and you have curves, so maybe you could be like the 16-year-olds, or like you could, maybe they have something for you. So I actually went back to the agency and I was like, hey guys, like remember me, measure me now and see if there's any work for me, because I am more than willing to do it. So I went back, they measured me, and they were like, you're beautiful, but like, nah. Every inch of your body needs to be what they want. This is something that you can look into. You never know what store might be looking for what size, even at whatever age, whether you're 12 or you're 35 or you're 80, or like I said, if you have kids and they're growing and they're not fully developed yet, it might be perfect. I don't really know if it works the same now as it did 20 years ago when I did it, but find a modeling and talent agency if you're interested in this. Take yourself or your kid or whatever and ask them about fit modeling. That's all the advice I can give you, because I don't know how it works now. I don't know if you need anything else. Google fit modeling, figure it out. If you end up getting a job fit modeling and you end up making bank, you can come and you can thank your girl. Because I didn't even know that this job title existed. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea that you could make this much money off of doing nothing. That's my story time for you guys. That's how I made 18 grand when I was a kid. And now I'm very thankful that I have that money. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media at Jackie Hollywood. All the links are below. Of course, comment. If you have any questions, I will try my best to answer them. I love you guys so much, and I will be back real soon.